Hello and welcome to another Royally Rich Lifestyle Show with me, Ian Pelham Turner.
And with me, Helena Chard.
Let's roll the titles and get on with the show. Well, it's another sunny afternoon in London and it's a nice bright day. All sorts of things have been happening royal-wise, but just before we start, we thought we'd start off with Dr. Andy Hodjak, who has just received the OBE. He's the second person from Albania to receive the OBE from Prince William the other day. And he attended the investiture on the 8th of May at Windsor Castle. Dr. Hodjak was appointed as an Officer of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire in the New Year's Honours List 2024 for his service to UK-Albania relations. So we really congratulate him first of all, and it's always pleasant and great to see how our royal family support other people like Albanians from across the world, and especially with this type of thing. Over to you, Helena.
Over to both of us. So, gun salutes were heard across London, and this was to celebrate the coronation anniversary. So, can you imagine? It's a year since the coronation. So, heard the salutes going off. Horse artillery, that was at midday. Then at 1 o'clock, I think it was a 62 salute from Tower Wharf. And that's an extra 21 from the City of London. But praising King Charles on his sense of duty and the fact that, you know, he really has, well, he is a great king. I think he's very relatable now. And also, you know, obviously talking about his illness and everything, I think more people are just finding him far more down to earth. So excellent. Congratulations to King Charles.
And Prince Harry is back in the fold, well, sort of.
He is, he's popped off now, but yes, so he celebrated the Invictus Games 10th anniversary at St Paul's. He obviously set up the Invictus Games in 2014 and it's a huge success. I mean, so, you know, cheers to him really for that. And he was supported by, I think it was Princess Diana's family were there, and he was giving a reading, and it seemed to go very well. It was very quick. No main royals were there, but understandably everyone was very busy. And I think moving on, talking of garden parties, you know, it's the first of the garden parties, and King Charles absolutely beaming, racing around, chatting to people, shaking hands, completely vibrant. I know that Prince William has been very worried that he's working too hard and Camilla's trying to, you know, hold him back, but he's been feeling like a caged animal, so now is raring to go. So lovely seeing him smiling. But just to say, Tony Hodgell, 9 years old, double amputee, very well known, known as a good friend to the Princess of Wales. He didn't quite make it, and social media whizzed all his you know, information, which was he was stuck on the motorway and was very upset. And then Buck Powell
and then bring him back
next year, which is really lovely. Which is great.
But I think also very quickly, Harry also worked had a children's party the other day as well in London, and this was for children who had lost a parent, either a father or a mother mainly. And I thought the way that he played with them, it was just outstanding. So well done, Prince Harry, on that front.
Just quickly, obviously Harry and Meghan now in Nigeria. Meghan, I was surprised that she didn't pop to London and support Harry at St Paul's, but she did meet him in the Windsor suite, I suppose at the airport, and they've flown off to Nigeria. They met people from the last Invictus, the Nigerian team, who did incredibly well. They've invited them over. It's a cultural tour. And it's not a royal tour, I have to say, because they're obviously not working royals, but it's a great way for, I think, Nigeria to showcase what they've got. It's in a very positive way, and they're looking forward to being a host, I believe, at some point in the future. So that's good. That's good. And I think moving on to Queen Camilla, talking of being good with children, she's opened the 50th Coronation Library. It's so important. It's part of the Coronation Library project, and this was at Moorland Primary School in Islington, just around the corner from us. It's important to keep reading, and Queen Camilla's always talking about this. She's got her podcast, The Queen's Reading Room. She's patron of the National Literacy Trust, which oversees something like 1,000 libraries. But interestingly, 1 in 7 primary schools do not have a library, which is a shame. And 1 in 11 primary school pupils actually have never owned a book. Can you believe it? So absolutely brilliant. She was there, they were reading, and it was just lovely that at story time she was running through affirmations with the children, so it was lovely to see. So all good, and I think that's it now for our news, but do we have more time? Or
we have a little bit more time, okay. So Princess Anne.
We'll talk about Princess Anne, I think, because she does so much work, as we know, and she has actually taken 15 of the 18 investitures carried out. That's a huge amount if you think she's 72, and this is between January and April. And she really does sprinkle sort of royal stardust over everything and makes everyone feel very special. And every day, apparently, people sort of say, I wish she could be queen. So Absolutely. It just goes to show she's the eyes and ears for the queen, for the king. And I think she does a huge, she's great.
Absolutely right. Anyway, so well done with the news again this week. I know we try to pack a lot into these shows at the moment.
Far more. There's actually loads and loads of news, but just keeping it to a minute. But I just think just quickly we should just say as well, there's been lots of talking about Harry and King Charles, and you know, obviously we want the best for everyone, but it's really lovely to see King Charles being touchy-feely, and I really hope that people don't suddenly think, you know, take things as words, because there's lots of things underneath that people don't realise, which we'll share next week. Okay, so now we're just going to take a short break, and then we're going to bring on Rocco Bioveno, and really he is the impresario to all the Hollywood stars. Stay tuned. And now we have our wonderful guest on for this afternoon, Rocco Bioveno. Welcome to you, sir.
It's an honour being here. And you got the name right as well.
I know.
Just about.
I've only been practicing it for 5 days.
I don't even care what you call me. I've been called worse names.
So first of all, tell me about the events that you're going to be doing in Chelmsford.
The one that we're focusing on now is called a music festival. It's going to be called Let's Rock That Job, and it's all about using live music or live entertainment with a variety of some of the best tribute bands I've put together. A lot of friends of ours, we've pulled them together to honour this festival. Going to be an open air concert for about 2,500 people, and it's all about what's the right word? To inspire. To help people look for work, jobless, homeless, people with disabilities, with probably, not with probably, but also with mental awareness promotion. So I'm trying to combine everything under one roof and let music, live music, be the inspiration, having a variety of recruitment stalls, so where people can come looking for work. So it's like an inspiration event for the community and for the jobless and for the homeless and blah blah etc.
I love that because it's bringing everyone together. So
it's never been done before, and the nice thing is I'm trying to get a big check off Ian so we can get it sponsored.
Good luck.
It's got to be a free event. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So we don't want to charge anyone. So come enjoy yourself. A magical afternoon of some great music with some of the best tribute bands in the UK, from ABBA, the sounds of ABBA, Beatles, Frankie Valli, Bob Marley, Elvis. And of course we're going to have local talent as well. So the whole package is to help the community, promote local talent, and have a variety of great, top-grade tribute bands.
I love it because I'm from that background as well, casting. But I just wanted to say, what date and where?
It's Sunday the 22nd of September. Central Park in Chelmsford. Easy to get there, and like I said, it's a free event. So
Perfect.
that's the idea anyway.
We're showing, as we're talking now, some of the amazing people that you've worked with over the years. So just do a quick roll call. What a red carpet of the people that you've worked with.
Oh my good Lord, where do I start? Well, it's always been an honour and a pleasure to work with some great Hollywood people. I started off with Al Pacino. I had my first break with him. I met him in Ireland. He was promoting a new film he made, and he was doing this show in America called One Night with Al, or One Night with Pacino. And I says to him, why don't we bring this show to London? Eventually it did. It took about a year to decide. And the first show we did with him was London Palladium. Sold out in a second, quickly. So it was like an audience with Al, and it was like fantastic. And so I worked with him a few times since. And then since then, I've had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jane Fonda, Charlie Sheen, Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren was probably my last one before COVID struck. Then it was like stopped. So we had a long holiday, as you well know, over COVID. But I've enjoyed working with everyone. So that's with a talk show. But I like the music side as well. I'm a big fan of, as I was speaking to you earlier, you've got to ask me that question. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, my good Lord.
No, absolutely. Well, we were just talking before we came on air about Jerry Lee Lewis, and I worked with Jerry Lee Lewis several times, and one night almost on his death, because one of his fans decided that he thought he'd upset Jerry Lee Lewis during the concert, and on the second half of the show, this guy was in the balcony seats of the theatre, and he'd got a Jeroboam of champagne, this huge bottle of champagne, and he said, "Here, Jerry," here, and he threw this bottle of champagne about 15 feet, and he caught it just because otherwise it would have taken him out.
Yeah. For me, I've always, deep in my heart, I'm a rock and roll man, and I love, rock and roll music. A big Beatles fan. So when I had the opportunity of bringing Jerry Lee Lewis, for me, because I love rock and roll, it was probably the best show. It sold out within seconds. The whole Argyle Street in London Palladium was like chock-a-block. To an extent, we nearly had to call the police to move the crowd. And it was his birthday as well. He was 80 years old, and that was his last concert. So I'm very honoured to have done his last concert. Sadly, he's passed away. And Ringo Starr joined us. He joined me on stage because it was his birthday, Jerry Lee Lewis's birthday. And we had this big cake, and then we brought him on stage with me and Ringo
You've got
pushing
loads of stories,
the
haven't
trolley
you?
cake,
Perfect.
that was a great night, I must admit, yeah.
Rocco, you're absolutely brilliant at putting on community events, and you put on loads of events. Do you have like a team that you work with? Is there anything that you need particularly to put this event on?
I never say I've done it. I always have a good team of people, and I think the teamwork I've always had has always been brilliant, that I was able to share my thoughts, my vision, my work, and we all work together like a team and we get things done. Yeah, I like sharing, so I never like to take the glory because I'm a shy person, as you all know. I like to stay behind the scenes. But may I say, can I throw this in? Ian, am I allowed? Have I got time?
Yeah.
So when I started to do my community festival, when I used to live in Pelham, for example, in London, and we started off small, had the Cheeky Girls there and a few others, who were already famous, but we had a very young Ed Sheeran. He came a couple of times. Nobody knew who he was, unsigned. Now look at him, bless him, the biggest star in the world.
So, out of all these sort of the Americans that you've worked with, obviously Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and the like, how do you
God,
find
you got his
them?
name right. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can never get his name right after all these years.
Schwarzenegger.
It's a difficult name.
So how
It's worse than Vaughan Vino.
how did you find, working with them? What type of people were they in real life?
I think, for me, I had no issues with any of them. What you see on TV with them is what you get. So that's what I saw. And it's been always great working with them. They've aged a lot, because first time I brought Sylvester Stallone, and I looked at him and I said to myself, I said, oh my God, this is like 30 odd years ago when I saw Rambo. Time it flies, and I'm like, you're here with me now. And it's 30 years ago with Rambo. Can you believe it? It was like yesterday. No, I'd never look at it that way. I was, yeah, what you see with them is what you get on TV and live. So, yeah, it's been good to work with. My favourite guy, I guess, who I love to bits, is Charlie Sheen. Down-to-earth guy,
Yeah.
Very well. It might be crazy then, probably still crazy now, but a great guy. I love that guy.
Yeah, no,
Such a laugh to get on with.
And his father was very nice as well, Martin Sheen as well. So
I never met Martin, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring Martin together with Charlie, and that never happened. So, but Charlie, a few times, is a great guy.
Excellent.
I'm interested. This festival that I'm curious about, and I can't wait to attend.
Are you coming?
Of course I am.
Luckily, it's free tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to pay.
How can you put this on for free? What do you need in order to implement this?
So I'm like now knocking on doors, and I appeal for help, whether it's donations, whether it's sponsorship. So I need for people to pull together and come and support us. We're a CIC registered now company, like a charity. So we need funding to make this happen. So my aim now is to raise £80,000. That's the cost of the show. And we've prepared like a presentation deck with all sorts of like offers available for a particular sponsor to paint parts or get small different packages to make up for the money that we need. And even at £80,000 for what we're about to put on, that's cheap, because on a commercial way that would have been about 120,000. But because I pulled in friends and favours, but you will get an ultimate show.
Excellent.
So the idea is not to charge, keep it open, free for all. But of course, I need to raise some money.
Excellent.
So anybody out there with money or a check, please send it to me, or go to our website. Am I allowed to mention the website?
Carry on.
Let'sRockThatJob.com.
Excellent. Well, Rocco, thank you so much for your time
That's
this
been
afternoon.
great
Is
fun.
that it?
Always a pleasure to have you on.
So next time I'm going to come with a yellow jacket.
Thank you very
Do you know, I nearly
Okay.
came with my yellow jacket.
Bless you.
You
Okay.
come on again.
Thank you so
definitely.
much for your time this afternoon.
It's
Thanks,
a pleasure.
Rocco.
Thank you. Have the greatest pleasure in meeting our wonderful guest again, Philip Sykes of the British School of Excellence. Good afternoon, Philip.
A very, very good afternoon to both of you. I trust you've had a really good week, and it's wonderful to see you. As I always say, I so look forward to this moment on Friday.
Absolutely, so do we.
Same here.
And the sun is shining.
Boom. Oh yes, and the smiles are out.
We're good. So basically, Philip, to start off with, we're looking at how do you create success, in your world? What advice do you give, and the etiquette of success as well? We've just had a wonderful impresario on talking about all the people that he works with in his time, Rocco. And so how do you feel that you can help with the British School of Excellence creating success for people?
Well, firstly, it's a great question, and I've had the privilege of actually talking with Rocco recently, which is he's a really interesting gentleman. Ian, that question for me is all about professionalism and maintaining great integrity. I think what's very important on this journey is upholding your ethical standards, integrity in whoever you're interacting with, and whether you're making decisions or the actions, but to build a really solid reputation of honesty, reliability, and trustworthiness is integral in this journey, and always keeping your communication, your level of communication very open and very to the point with your colleagues, your clients, and the public, and not to hoodwink people or make false promises. And this is something that I think is absolutely fundamental. We always go back to punctuality, in other words, timeliness. It is fundamental to be reliable. If you say you're going to commit to something, you really ought to commit to it. You've got to stick to your deadlines. You've got to attend to those meetings. You've got to be really on your A game. And then I know the art world is very diverse, but what is the appropriate dress code? According to the interaction you're having, how are you showing up every single day? And that is absolutely fundamental. When it comes to generating our persona and our personal being, one of the things here at the British School of Etiquette and Excellence we talk about is we get everyone to write down a sentence and that notice to themselves, and that is, I am my brand. So how are you branding yourself, and how are people perceiving you? Are you putting yourself out there in the right sort of light? And are people speaking kindly behind your back? Or are they labeling you because they've seen you put a foot wrong, or you haven't adhered to your image and to your brand?
That's really interesting, Philip. Thank you. Also, we've seen King Charles bounding about at the garden parties at Buckingham Palace with thousands of guests, and it's been lovely to see because it's been sunny and he looks happy and everyone's so excited to see him. What can you offer to people by way of etiquette for garden parties?
Well, again, this is going to start where I finished off almost on the last one. Is always make sure you are dressed appropriately. You really have to dress accordingly. Ladies have a certain dress code, gentlemen have a certain dress code, and that is something to adhere to. For anyone out there thinking about what the dress code is, all you need to do is Google it. But ladies, you may wear a lovely summer dress, but not bearing your shoulders too much. Gentlemen, depending on the type of garden party, but I will always recommend a very nice, potentially linen, but a suit to suit the actual garden party. Punctuality is key. This is not one of those fashionably late scenarios where you arrive 10 minutes late. If it was a 3 o'clock garden party, you don't arrive at 10 past 3. You get there early and you make sure you go through the security checks, and it's very, very respectful to be punctual. The protocol is key. There's a very big difference between etiquette, manners, and protocol. Protocol is very much a sort of a bullet point of the things that you need to understand and adhere to, and that is very, very important. When we are greeting the royal family, it's important to understand the certain greetings such as Your Majesty or Your Royal Highness, and then you can go to Sir or Mum. And it is very important to maintain that beautiful poise and your composure and engage in polite conversation. You do not want to be slipping up and inquiring about politics or religion or anything that could be offensive. The royal family will never engage in conversation on those sort of areas at all. And then again, showing great appreciation. I think it is an absolute privilege to be invited to a garden party, especially surrounding the royals, and they do have a huge invitation list every single year. The amount of people that they invite to garden parties are incredibly generous. And then again, I think respecting personal space. A few weeks ago, Ian, you and I were talking about having photographs and that sort of thing. Those are all good and well, but we do not touch the royals. We do not put an arm around them. We do not give any sort of form of familiarity.
Just sorry, one second. I seem to remember the Princess of Wales talks about wearing wedges at these garden parties, and I suppose that's not etiquette as such, but the etiquette is the poise. And if you wear sort of like high heels and your heels go into the grass and then you fall over, then then there's a problem. But that's something that she always talks about.
Yeah, I think sensible footwear is very important. And as you said, Helen, it's either going to be the great quality of champagne that's been served that you have been supporting over. But incidentally, the Royals are very supportive of the local English sparkling wines, which are fantastic. They really and truly are. They are method de champenoise. They're made in exactly the same way as any champagne would be. They are rivaling the champagne houses in France. We're not allowed to call it champagne in this country because we don't fall into the Champagne region. But I know for a fact that champagne houses are buying up land in Kent and Sussex and Surrey to grow grapes in order to produce this beautiful, beautiful English classic sparkling wines, and the Royals do tend to serve those sparklings. Having said,
Excellent.
I know Prince Philip was a big fan of Bollinger. They do serve, and again, I have to share with all of you that some of the English sparklings are really out of the top drawer.
Excellent, Philip. Sorry. So finally, how can people get in contact with you again, please?
Yes, certainly. www.thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com, and on our website we have a WhatsApp telephone number, a normal telephone number. Please connect with us. We welcome anyone who would like to connect and engage with us.
Excellent. Thank you
Philip.
so much, Philip. We'll see you again next week. Have a great week.
Best wishes. Thank you both very much.
Thank you. So wasn't that a great show again with Rocco, with all the stories he's got to
there's
tell, all the
so
very famous
much.
people.
Absolutely.
We've
And
got
do
all
you
the
know,
royal news as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it as well, it's all about connection. And connection goes a long way, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, so another great show. Again, I'd like to thank, as always, Helena Chard for ALB UK Television and Jacqueline Kovac on USA Global TV as well for all their support and help in putting this show out across the world. And so from me, Ian Pelham-Turner.
And from me, Helena Chard.
I hope you have another great week. We'll see you again next week. Stay tuned.